happy Friday, Bougie Squad. Thank you all so much for joining me on I'm Bougie Girl podcast. My name is Miranda Allen Chenault, and I am the host. Bougie means bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girl, intentional, and elegant. So you know what? We are grateful for you following us. We're grateful for you joining us on tonight for another amazing and powerful conversation with our guest on tonight on Her Story. Our guest on tonight, she is the founder and creator of mother and daughter bond. We're going to talk about the relationships between a mother and a daughter. Those relationships are so important. They're so integral to the well-being of our children and of ourselves. As a mother, I want to have a healthy and a great relationship with my mother. So we're going to hear our guest on tonight as she shares some tools and tips with us, some encouragement, share her story about how to just better heal and have a better and a healthier relationship with our mothers. Ola Ray Coleman is a life coach with an emphasis on helping women process and work through their trauma of their mother wound, to surrender their mind and heart to the Lord to receive divine healing, restoration of their soul. Having overcome her own life-altering mother wound through divine healing, Ola went on to become CEO and founder of the Mother and Daughter Bond, Ola Coleman LLC, using her childhood and adult life experiences. Along with the Word of God, Ola is developing a community of women to come together to lean on the Word, to learn from the Word of God, to apply it to their lives and to receive healing and deliverance. Such an awesome and powerful statement there. You all share this out. Join us. Thank you all so much, Melanie and Joyce. Thank you, Jimmy, for joining us on YouTube. You all share this out because we're about to have a dynamic and life-changing conversation on tonight. And so many women and daughters need to hear about this. So let's join us. Joining us tonight is Ola Coleman. Hi, Ola.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm so thankful again for you being a part of our platform on tonight to share your experiences and to share your story so someone else can be healed and delivered.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad that you're having me on your platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so what has 2020 taught you? We've all went through so many different changes, so many ups and downs in 2020. Was there something in particular that you learned about yourself or that 2020 taught you?
2020 was a dynamic year. It also taught me so much about myself personally. As I'm sure a lot of you all can attest, it was a time for me to grow closer to God, really look at my life, examine where I am with so many deaths, COVID taking place. Everyone is having to come in and not commune with the people that you're used to socializing with at work, your family. That gave me a time to come in and settle down because I wasn't as busy running around. And it gave me a chance to look inward, look at my life. Where am I? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? So it's taught me the value of time, not to take time for granted. Don't take for granted that you'll have tomorrow or the next day to do whatever you want to do. Go ahead, and it taught me to go ahead and do what you want to do. Live your life, because life isn't promised to you. We had over 500 people pass away, right? And it just showed me that your life can be gone at any time. So do what you want to do. Live for the Lord. Enjoy your family, your friends. Just live life and love your life.
Right. And that is so important, to value our relationships, to value life, our friend, not take it for granted. Like you said, to just go ahead and live. Right.
Yes.
Especially a lot of times with, single women, we're sitting around and waiting. Why not go ahead and live while you're waiting? Right. That's so important.
That's good. Yes, that is very important. Don't put off what you can do today. We hear that all the time, but this truly showed us, don't put off what you can do today. Just go ahead and start. Just go ahead and do. Just be who you are, live authentically, and live your life with no apologies.
Exactly. Unapologetically live your life and be all that God has created you to be. Don't waste any more time.
Right.
So what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for life. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family, for my friends, for the freedoms that I have. Again, looking at 2020 and what it brought, I'm thankful to be here, to live another day, to live my life, to do what God has called me to do, to meet new people, to live.
Right. And what will you no longer take for granted?
I will no longer take for granted time. I have to go back to time. I would no longer take for granted time, because I used to always say, "Oh, I'm gonna put this off." I'm a little bit of a procrastinator. I'm gonna put that on a back burner. I don't know what time is promised to me. Time is not being given to me. Time is dwindling away when you think about it. So it's like I'm thinking I have time, and time is dwindling away. So I won't time.
And that is so important because we're already going into second quarter of 2021.
We are, and look how fast it has gone.
Right. And it's
So
just
fast.
like we can't, like you said, that is so important. We can't take for granted our time. Live every moment to the fullest. Self-care, so you can be healthy enough to enjoy those moments.
That's
And so,
right.
you all, if you're not living your life, you hear it from Ola, please join, live your life, enjoy your life. Don't take time in life for granted any longer. Let's enjoy our lives. And, so we're in a new year. COVID is still going on. And so, it's just so important for us to understand that. But if you all have not shared this out, we're about to get into the nitty gritty of this conversation. So please share this out. And so, Ola, I wanted to ask you, because you've created this platform. So when you're looking back at your 17 and your 18-year-old self, what was your life like back then?
17, 18. I was graduating high school, starting out trying to find myself. I had just had a daughter, my oldest daughter. So I was trying to figure out my place. I was trying to transition from high school now into the world, becoming a mom. And that's when it really hit me that, you know what, my mom is not here to guide me, to give me that wisdom, to give me that talk. Now, I do want to say that I was raised by my great aunt. So I'm definitely thankful that she took me and my two sisters in. But it just hit me of my mom is not here. Because when you have your first child, you want your mom there. You want to see her excitement, her joy, to hold your child and say, okay, now this is how things are done. So it was a lot on my shoulders to have this child, to deal with the fact my mom was not here and still having to be a parent and go into the world and make a life for myself. So my shoulders were heavy because I had a lot on me during that time.
Right. And so when you said your mom was not here, has she passed away or she just was not in your life? Okay.
No, so my mom passed away. She has unfortunately been gone for a long time. She passed away when I was 4. So I've had to live my life with that emptiness. But there's markers in your life, like having the first child, that really hits home. She's not here.
Sure.
What do I do? Where do I go?
So how did not having your mother, knowing that you were raised by your great aunt, you knew this wasn't your mother, how did that impact your relationship with her? Did it make you closer to your great aunt, or was it still kind of like that mother-daughter relationship?
We were close. However, it wasn't as close as a mother and daughter relationship could be or is, because I knew that was not my mom. So she could not take her place. So there was a difference. She was there to help lead and guide me and give me the support, but it was still that emptiness of not having her there. So there's a big difference. We were close, but it was not that mother-daughter relationship closeness.
So even though, like you said, your mother passed when you were 4. So how
Mhm.
did you know that there was a difference? Like, you said there is a difference. You could tell there was a difference. How did you know that there was a difference because you lost your mother so early that this couldn't have been that type of relationship that you needed?
I knew that there was a difference. Even though my mother passed when I was 4, I still knew her. I was with her all the time. I knew her love. I knew her touch. So when she transitioned and now I'm in, the home with my aunt, yes, love was in the home, but there's nothing like a mother's love, a mother's touch. And I knew my aunt was not my mom. I just knew, so it's the way that a mother loves. And of course I knew my mom, so I knew the difference. And I was not trying to look to replace her.
Right.
Yeah.
And so even though your relationship with your aunt, you were close, you knew this was not
Mhm.
your mom. And so, was your aunt there for you when you had your first child? How was that experience not having your mom there? So how did that impact you as being a young mother?
Yes, so my aunt was there with me when I had my daughter. So grateful for that. But not having my mom, just, I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I knew that there was a void.
Right.
There's clearly a void with her not being there. And I missed her. I missed her presence.
Right. And so
Mhm.
when you talk about the mother wound, talk about that a little bit more. What does that mean, or what does that look like?
So a mother wound is, it can be, how do I want to say this? I want to say it as simple as I can. Really, it's a situation that a mother and daughter has that may put a divide between them. So it could have been a situation where they have been physical with one another. It could have been verbal abuse, not only physical, but verbal abuse taking place. It could even be something as simple as a misunderstanding, wrong perception that puts a wedge that divides that mother and daughter to the point where there's harsh feelings. you know it's kind of like you stay over there, I stay over here. There's a wedge between the two. So it's when internally there's a disconnect. The love may not be there. You may not feel the same way towards your mother or your daughter. Again, it can be physical, it can be mental, it can be verbal. It's a wound that
Right.
has put a divide between a mother and a daughter.
So with you not having your mother around, do you feel like you had that mother-daughter wound for yourself because of her
Oh
absence?
yeah. Oh, for
And
sure. I did. I did. I had a mother wound, and the strange thing about it is I didn't know. I didn't know that term then. I just knew she was not there. There was a void that was missing, and I was hurting. I was hurting. But as I, got older, um, it started to play out. That mother wound started to play out in various ways. It turned and transitioned from the void, me missing her, and transitioned into anger. It transitioned into wrong choices with men. It transitioned into my low self-esteem. So it can manifest itself in so many different ways because it's an internal wound that you have.
right. And so how do you feel like, well, it sounds like trauma can play a major part in that wound, any type of trauma
Mhm.
that, what types of trauma occurs in this dynamic with the mother wound?
You're looking at anything from the trauma of rejection. Sometimes women can have PTSD. Like I said, trauma of low self-esteem, of depression. It manifests itself in so many different ways.
Right. So I know you mentioned before that you didn't realize you had this mother wound.
No.
When did you finally discover that, or when did you realize this was what was going on with you and why you were making the choices you were making?
Oh, this was later in life that I realized that, something is going on with me.
Right.
I'm just always angry, and I don't know why I'm angry.
Right.
I'm making wrong choices with men, not understanding that I'm trying to find love. to fill that void. So it was later in life, I would say that when I really started understanding was in my late 30s is when it dawned on me.
Right.
It turned to anger. My love transitioned to anger with my mother. You know, yes, I loved her, but it turned to anger because I started thinking, why did you leave me? Maybe if you were here, I would not have fell into some of the situations, made the wrong decisions. You know, maybe I wouldn't be so angry, but I was in my late 30s when I really realized what was happening in my life.
So women, women and young men can not only have a mother wound, not only have a father wound, right? Because we always harp on that, not harp on it, but we always put an emphasis on the father-daughter wound, right? Or the father-daughter dynamic. But the mother-daughter dynamic is just as important, or maybe even more important. Tell us why that dynamic is so important.
The relationship between the mother and daughter is very important. We are nurturers. We give love. We receive love. We birth life into this world. And it's important that as we're birthing life, as we are bringing up our children, how can I say it? We are life givers. Right. We're life givers. We're nurturers. And when that relationship is not in love, it's not being nurtured, then the people that we touch, our children, our significant others, our husband, we can kill that relationship. We can kill what we're trying to birth. So it's important that the mother and daughter relationship is in love. And it's important to forgive. It's important to heal those wounds because with us being life givers, we can damage everything that we come in contact with if we're not right, if we're not whole.
Right. And so you believe that we can pass that pain on down to our children,
Definitely.
So how can we, so if we're in pain because of the wound from our mother, and now we having children, and that pain is being passed down, how can we start repairing that pain so we won't pass it down? Or what if we've already passed down some of this pain, right? The way we talk to our children, the way we handle them. How can we start repairing those damaged relationships?
It starts with you as the individual, you as the mother, you as the daughter, because what I learned is, even though after I became a mom and I realized later that I had a mother wound, even though I'm a mom, I have a wound myself.
Sure.
So it's important for us to understand it starts with us first as an individual. We have to look in and do a self-assessment. Where are we? And we have to start trying to figure out where is this pain coming from? Why am I the way I am? It doesn't matter if you start off with counseling to get some insight, prayer. You have to start somewhere, but it starts with you first. You can't go to your mom or to your daughter first and try to fix the relationship if you're not right, because it's going to be a revolving door. So even if you have a child and the relationship is not great, you may have done some things as a parent, or you may have done something as a daughter. Do the work first on yourself, and then come back a completely different person to apologize or come together to resolve whatever the problem is between you two. This starts with you as an individual first.
And that's so good that you said that, we need to do the work first, right? It's so important for us to be healed so we can go and heal the broken relationships. But, I'm sure you already know that there's many times where people they're not going to do the work, right? They're not going to make the effort like a mother. She's like, you know what, I'm grown. You know how that goes, right? I'm grown. I don't have to do that. So, but if a daughter would like to change or heal that relationship, what can a daughter do in that situation where she has that scenario? Should she just love her mother from a distance? What would you recommend in that situation?
Yeah, I've actually worked with some women who were in that situation. I also had one young lady who I didn't work directly with, but she would come into my lives and listen to me talk and share things. And that touched her, where she went to her mom and they began to have a conversation. So that's what I mean. If you start with you first, you can change the dynamic of that relationship by your mother seeing, you know what, something has changed with her. Let me see what it is. Let me open up to her to see where this can go. Can we heal this relationship? So
either way, whether it's the daughter or the mother, whoever wants to take that first step, that extend that olive branch, right?
Yes. Yes.
So either person. So what if you have a teenage daughter, right? She's still an adolescent, still growing, still learning, and your relationship is just tumultuous with her. Your relationship with her is just kind of just really all over the place, and you desire to have a whole and healed relationship with her, especially before she goes off to, like you said, to start dating, going off to college. What would you recommend for a mother how can she approach her teenage daughter or young daughter in order to repair some damage that was there?
Yeah, approach the relationship in love. Extend that love, because when you're in a broken relationship, when it's toxic, when there's so many things that's happening, sometimes the child won't always see you in love. She may hear what was said, she may remember what was done to her. So going to her in love, correcting her in love. I'm not saying let her get away, with everything under the sun, because you may feel guilty, but talk to her in love. When children start to see you change, because you're working on yourself as an individual, that will help them come around. If not, you continue to stay in love, walk in love, lead and guide and direct them as much as you can. But you also have to remember, as a teen, they're going through their own situations. You know how that is. You can remember being a teenager. Sometimes
those hormones all over the place.
All over the place. You get to the point where it's like, mom doesn't know anything. She's so old. She doesn't know what's going on currently. So it's all of those battles, but remain in love. Let them know that you're there for them. Do what you can. With my oldest daughter, like I said, I had a mother wound. I did not do everything right. I did not say everything right. And we hit a rough patch for many years. And I tried counseling. I tried talking to her. And I remember trying to seek God on her. I'm like, God, you need to change her and do something about her. And you know how our Father is. It was, what about you?
Right.
Like, it's hard. You need to change. And it was like, no, come on. It's not her. Let's work on you. So when he began to talk to me about me and let me see what I was saying and what I was doing, I had to confess I wasn't helping the relationship. I was adding fire to it. To be honest, because there's a lot of mothers and daughters out here that are battling it out. And they're so hurt. They don't want anybody to know, so it's hidden. They can't talk about it. It's the shame factor, and I get it. I get it because I was there. But you do what you can do. You pray for them. I remember going into her room, anointing everything and praying for her. But I also knew that she had a path she had to take. And I also knew that with years of us battling, it may not change overnight. But I had to change and work on me regardless of what she did. And down the road, here we are now. We're talking every day, several times a day. So just be consistent when you're working on you and you're changing. Let them see that. Love on them. Work with them. Pray for them. Because it will come to an end. Things will get better. It will get better.
Right. And that's such good wisdom that you're sharing right now, is that don't give up. Continue to walk in love. It's going to be
Yes,
hard. It's not going to be
yes,
easy. And so
not at
we
all.
can't give up anything worth having. Is not going to come easy. So we have to
Right.
continue to work for the
Hmm.
relationship. If you value your
Yes.
relationship with your mother or your daughter, with whoever you are, whatever side you're on, working towards that and loving on them, not becoming
Yes.
frustrated or angry with them,
Yes.
that's so awesome. Do you feel like there is ever a time that we need to separate ourselves from our mother or our daughter, when we're like, you know what, this is just, I need to just step back for a minute. I need to
Mhm.
just wait for now, not saying permanently. Do you ever feel like there's a time for that?
Yes, there will be times when you may need to put some separation between yourself and your daughter, especially if the relationship is toxic. If it's verbal abuse, if there's physical abuse, of course, you definitely don't want to stay in those types of relationships because that's going to diminish you as a person. So you want to put distance between you and your mom, and you want to do the inner work, get help, whatever help you need to overcome. Um, but I do want to definitely make this comment is, in the midst of this, you can't forget God. You can go to counseling. Counseling is there as an aid to help you, but God is there to clean up the mess. He's there to show you how you can become better. He's there to show you how to put the relationship together, because who knows us better than the creator, right? So you definitely want to seek him and invite him into the relationship to help bring wisdom, let you see and unearth what's at the bottom of this wound. There's something
Right,
there, and you need to get to that point to identify what put the wedge between you two. Where is this
right,
abuse come from? Where is this physical abuse coming from? So
sure,
that you can at some point come back together. But yes, you may have to separate to get
right,
yourself together, for them to self-reflect, to come back together, to
right.
talk about it, and then restore that relationship.
And it's okay to have that
It
separation.
is.
It's okay
It is okay.
because
It is
because
okay.
sometimes we have to step away from each other, to both of us take that time to heal, right?
Yeah.
Both of us to take that time to do the work. Do you ever feel like there's ever, or should there ever be, any type of jealousy between a mother and daughter? I know I've seen that in the past with certain situations with
Mhm.
mothers and daughters where there's some jealousy there. What do
Yeah.
you think, or why do you think that happens? That jealousy between mother and daughter.
It can happen for various reasons. For the few times that I have seen it, it has been where the mother has been jealous of the daughter doing what she wasn't able to do growing up. She may not have been able to go to school, go to college, get her education, have a career, have a family. Maybe she was the oldest, that mother was the oldest and had to take care of other siblings. So the jealousy can come in with the daughter of, you're doing something I always wanted to do. So instead of celebrating you, I'm jealous of you. It can be things along that nature. She's can be just jealous of the woman that she has grown up to be. And it's like, you had a part in that. Celebrate in with her. You should be happy. Look at the fruits of your labor, right? So yes, you will
Definitely.
see that from time to time. It's unfortunate.
Right.
And sometimes that will create a wedge between that mother and daughter, because it's the daughter running to the mother to share her wins, to say, look, what I've done. Are you
Right.
proud of me? And then here's the mother giving her attitude, talking down,
Right.
talking crazy to her. And that's,
Right.
what? You may have to change the way you talk to your mom. You may not be able to share your wins. You may have to keep that conversation very basic. Hey, how are you doing? I love you. What's going on with you? But I'm going to find my sister. I may find a cousin or another woman to celebrate with me, because we're not there yet. Sometimes
Wow.
you have to modify your relationship with your mother, still honoring her, but
Right.
there's boundaries. You will handle her differently.
Right. And that is so good. And I honestly to be transparent, that's my relationship with my mother. I can't share everything with her, so like you said, I love her to life. I'm very cordial. We pray together and all these things, but I can't share everything because then, or I can't, certain things I can't say because now it's like you take it personal, right? I mean, oh, well, are you okay? Or what's going on with you? And it's like, this has nothing to do with you. We raise our children up in the way that they should go, but once they leave our homes, they're going to make choices. We've done our part the best that we can, but they're going to make choices. And we don't want them to make those choices, right? But sometimes they have to learn the hard way because, like you said, we old, they don't want to listen. We don't know anything, right? And so, it's so important that, we, like you said, we continue to still keep that relationship, but maybe there's some boundaries there. Maybe there's some things there. So what type of boundaries do you feel like, especially while we're trying to go through the healing process to kind of guard our own hearts, what type of boundaries do you think we need to put in place in order for that to happen?
Just depending on the situation that you have with your mother. Every mother and daughter relationship is different. So depending on the type of relationship you have, if you have a relationship with your mother where, it may be a lot of verbal abuse taking place, a boundary for you is to keep the conversation short. Don't give her an open door to then start spewing her venom on you. You may want to adjust the way you talk with her. You may want to send a text. Hey, Mom, how are you doing? Just checking on you. The next time you may just want to pick up the phone. Hey, how are you doing? Keep the conversation short and brief. If it's a situation where you can't be together around your mom for too long, because there are those types of relationships. It's like, I can only take you in small doses.
Right.
Small doses. Listen, have a timer. Put a timer on your phone. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, Mom, thank you.
Right, I love you.
At the door, but I gotta go. So depending on, the dynamics of your relationship, you can set up those little things, not being disrespectful, but you just can only take them in small doses. You want to respect them. You need your respect. You want to maintain your sanity, right? Because if it's not headed in a good direction, you want to make sure that you don't do anything to cause more chaos in the relationship.
Right, more damage. So why do you feel like that your platform and what you've created, what you founded with the mother and daughter bond, why do you think that platform is? So now we have the mother wound. So now you created the mother and daughter bond. Tell us a little bit more about your platform and what is it, what is like your mission and what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah. So my mission really I've been out for a couple of years now. Mother and daughter bond has been out for a couple of years now. But recently in the pandemic, in my time with God in my prayer closet, I'm taking a little shift. He's letting me know it's time to shift. So I will really be focusing on explaining what it is. Letting women know the characteristics. Hey, this is how it shows up. You're wondering why you're angry, you're upset, you're depressed. This is what's going on. So it's trying to shed that light really of what a mother wound is, because a lot of women don't understand that they have one. And it's directing the women back to God. He wants me to create a community for women to come to, a safe place where we can discuss these things, like I said, because it's a shame factor. A lot of women don't want other people to know, me and my daughter don't have a great relationship. We fuss, we fight, we argue, so I want them to come and discuss these things, to talk about how God can come in and not only heal that wound, he can heal your heart, he can restore your relationship when the time is right. So it's pointing them back to the Creator for him to heal that wound correctly, for him to heal that wound so there's no more remnant of it. Because a lot of, and I didn't find this out until much later. Yes, you have a mother wound, but you can have subsequent wounds off of that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that go on in your life with a mother wound And God wants to heal us. He wants
Yes.
the mothers and the daughters and bring that relationship back together. So that is going to be the focus of Mother and Daughter Room until he shifts me, adding something else to that platform.
Right.
It's
That's
the
awesome.
Mother Room.
So will you be offering any type of counseling service or coaching service? What services will you be offering once you start, once your platform gets running again?
So what I would be offering is one-on-one coaching with women, because a lot of times the mother and daughter don't come together. It's usually the mother or it's usually the daughter. And because every mother and daughter relationship is so vastly different, I want to work with them one-on-one to understand what that wound is. So we may need to dive into some history. I'm not a therapist, so I'm going to touch that slightly, but it's just uncovering what happened, what put that separation there and going on from there. So it's going to be that one-on-one engagement, working through uncovering that wound, moving forward, setting up the boundaries. And then it's going to be a community, a Facebook community, where they, like I said, they can come and air out their grievance, but they have to understand, I'm going to let you sit there for a little while, but we're going to go into the word so that word can heal you. So you can meditate on that word, let the word work, let the Lord restore you, strengthen your relationship with him. Let's find some tools that'll help you. Like I said, those boundaries, those scriptures, those declarations, to help move them along, heal them so that they can restore their relationship with their mother or daughter.
That's awesome. We're looking forward to it. And if you all want to follow Ola Coleman on Facebook, it's Ola Coleman on Facebook, and it's Ola Coleman on Instagram, correct?
That's right. Mother and daughter bond on Instagram.
Mother and daughter bond on Instagram, and then Ola Coleman on Facebook, right? And so Joyce is asking, she said, why is it that no matter what you say to your daughter, they always think you are judging or criticizing them?
And that's that's their perception. That's a place that they're coming from. And 9 times out of 10, it's not you as a mom, because we're trying to lead and guide and direct them and give them the best advice to keep them from that pitfall. But it's their perception of, you're trying to tell me what to do. You're trying to run my life, right? That's usually what we hear, even from our sons. If you have sons, it's that they don't want you telling them what to do. You're judging me. And it's like, no, I love you. I want the best for you. You're not looking at it from this point of view. So it's their perception of how they're taking things.
Right. And so, again, we can't always take it personal because, you know, their perception, the way they look at it, we're not responsible for everyone's perception or what they think. We're responsible about how we deliver it, how we say it, you know, how, like you said earlier, communicating in love.
Yes.
Communicating whatever you want to share with your child, with your daughter in love. But if they take it the wrong way, you know, maybe, again, there might be a wound there.
Right.
That needs to be healed.
Where they can't hear things in the right way. All they hear is judgment, criticism. So, yeah, that's why I said just be patient, talk to them in love, show them love, because at the end, that's what's going to restore them back to the relationship. That's going to ultimately restore them back to God, because we're showing them God. Right? We're the first ones that they see. We need to be a reflection of God.
Right. I have I wanted to know, so like what Joyce is saying, when you hear your daughter responding that way, you know, yes, we're going to love on them. We're going to pray, you know, we're going to walk in love with them. But should we say anything else? Like, honey, I noticed that you're responding. Are you okay? Or should we just let it be? Or should we actually verbalize and say something?
Oh, no, because a lot of times when there's a mother wound, there's serious things happening behind the closed doors. There's fighting, there's cursing, there's hitting, when you get to the root of these things. And it happens more than what you think. behind the closed doors with the mother and daughter. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So it goes deep. And
Sure.
I'm not saying to walk in love and to ignore what they're doing. No,
Right.
you're going to have to get them together. When they're disrespectful, get them together.
Yes.
Together. Let them know that they have stepped out of line. So
Sure.
you can correct them. Definitely correct them. Don't be a pushover. Don't act like, well, I'm just walking in love and anything goes, because it doesn't. You're still a mom.
Right.
You still command respect.
Sure.
You still want them to talk to you, right? Like they have some sense, as we say. So when the time permits, definitely get them together. Have that conversation. What's going on? I noticed that you're doing X, Y, and Z. Where is that coming from? What did you hear when I said this? Because this is what I meant. So you have to talk to them in different ways than what you usually do. Because usually when you have a wound, it's fussing, fighting, and arguing. So now you're taking a different approach. And it's going to take some time for them to adjust to what you're trying to do. So it's patience, but yes, don't be a pushover, not at all.
Right. Don't be a doormat. Don't let them bully you and all this other stuff. And then don't you be a bully either. Moms, don't you be a bully. Don't try to force, like you said, continue to walk in love and be the example. So I know you've shared a lot of great wisdom. So ladies, if you all have any questions or comments or anything like that you would like to share or ask Miss Ola, please do so. Before as we're wrapping up this conversation. So, being the lady that you are today, what would you go back and tell the 17, 18-year-old Ola who was, graduating from high school, having her baby? What would you go back and say to her?
I probably would tell her, that she's loved. I would tell her to hold her head up. To square your shoulders and walk, that everything is going to come together. She's going to make it through life. She may hit some rough patches, but hold on. Trust and lean in God. And your future is bright. Your future is bright. What you're going through now is going to be a memory. You're going to come through this.
That's awesome. So who is the Ola today? Now you have this amazing platform. Good evening, Mama B. You have this amazing platform. You're helping mothers and daughters heal their wounds, the brokenness of whatever has happened, whatever has occurred, the trauma that has been passed on from generation to a generation, whatever may have occurred. What advice or what suggestions would you give? Or who are you today? Who is the Ola that you are today?
Today, Ola is happy, healthy, and whole, which is my mantra for mother and daughter bond. I'm happy.
Yeah, good.
I'm no longer walking around in the anger that I used to have because of my mother wound. That has been healed.
Right.
I'm whole. I'm healthy, mind, body, and spirit. Awesome. Not saying that I don't come against things or things doesn't happen. I handle it a different way. I understand it's going to pass. I have those tools, to help me through whatever I come against. And I'm whole. I'm whole in the Lord. So that's who I am today. So, and I want to give back to the women that is going through similar situations in their relationships with their daughter. I want to give them the wisdom and what I have learned to heal themselves and their relationship.
So I know, when you say whole, what do you mean?
Whole, mind, body, and spirit. I used to be broken. With that mother wound, I was broken. I didn't hear everything right. I would be easily offended. I just had fear all over me. There's a number of things. You're not whole, right? It was always inner turmoil in my mind, in my heart. Made wrong choices, but now, with the help of the Lord, counseling and everything, I have moved on to become whole in mind, body and spirit. So I no longer am fragmented, angry, upset, having a fear of rejection. I'm whole. God has came in and healed me. So those things are no longer a problem for me.
And the wholeness is confidence, right? The wholeness is who you are, like you said, making those right choices, no longer fragmented. And that was so awesome because you're broken, you're all over the place, right?
Yes.
And when you're
Yes.
whole, you have that peace. You're happy. You said that several
Mm-hmm.
times. So there's a happiness and there's a peace about you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
so awesome. And that's what you want the mother and daughters
Yes.
that you work with to end up having as well. What are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to, wow, at this point, there's nothing off limits to me. At my old self, I felt very limited. But now with the chains broken, sky's the limit. I'm looking forward to enjoying my life. I don't know what's next, but getting married, traveling more, having mother and daughter expand, helping thousands, if not millions of women. The sky's the limit. I'm looking forward to just whatever life will bring to me.
That's so awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing it happen for you. Looking forward to seeing, just many millions of mothers and daughters being healed because that relationship is so important.
Yes.
And is there any last minute tips or advice or wisdom that you would like to leave with the I'm Bougie squad on tonight?
Lasting comments. You know what? I would say pray about everything. Seek God about everything because He has
Right.
the answers. Um, really, the world is trying to show us that they have the answer, that He isn't needed. But we see today that the world is crying out in so many different ways. We have to continue to be the light, to be the salt of the earth. Be you, be authentically you, and let the world see God in you.
Amen. That's awesome. And I always like to ask the ladies that come on this podcast, Bougie, we are an acronym that stands for bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girl, intentional, and elegant. So what makes you bougie on tonight?
Oh, what makes me bougie?
According to the acronym.
Oh, one of a kind, one of a kind. And I'm learning to embrace that and use it to my advantage. One of a kind, bougie girl.
Amen. You are a bougie girl. You're part of the bougie squad. You are one of a kind. And
Yes.
Miss Ola, we are so grateful and thankful that you were able to grace us with your presence and your story, your journey, and talking to us about your mother wound and just helping us to better understand how we can heal our relationships with our own daughters and with our mothers. So thank you all again. Share this out. Don't go away, Ola. I'm going to just say some last minute housekeeping things for everyone. So I'll be right there. But I want to just say thank you all so much for joining the Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour or the Bougie Hour. I'm Bougie Podcast. I'm so used to saying Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour, but it's I'm Bougie Girl Podcast. Have to be consistent throughout 2021. And I just want to say thank you all so much for following us, for being with us on tonight. I want to also remind you all that we're having a conference coming up in May, celebrating our 1 year anniversary from Broken to Bougie. It's a virtual encounter. It will you can go to Eventbrite and type in Broken to Bougie to find and to get your tickets. You do not want to miss it. We have a King's Forum and a Ladies Lounge where we're going to have 2 days of just talking. This is going to be a healing, deliverance, and empowerment experience for you in a journey. So we want you to join us. And so thank you all so much. If you have not purchased my book, please go and purchase it. Go to imbougiegirl.com to purchase my book. It is there waiting for you. I am super excited to have launched my first book. So thank you all so much for being a part of this conversation. It was so much needed. Thank you, Joy. She said it was a great conversation. Thank you all so much again for being a part of this conversation, for joining us. And we ask you that you have a blessed night. You all be well and be safe and rest well. Have a great weekend, everyone.